Hi guys, how are you all going? So hello to everybody who's already in the group. I'm sure that you have see how my videos by now and I've got used to how I kind of chat for way too long. That's not going to happen today, okay? We've got 10 minutes. So but to all the new people in the group, welcome. It's so awesome to have you here. I hope that you learn lots, and of course we're jumping way ahead of the production schedule here, and we're chatting about bookstores because that's the aim of publishing your book. It's wonderful to have your book in your hands and everything, but publishing your book is part of the journey of publishing, okay? And being a really successful author publisher means getting your book into bookstores, okay? So I'm going to go through options here, and you can chat yourself, you chat with yourself about what fits you and what you want to achieve for you and your book, okay? I'm not sitting in the best place here. I'm sitting on a seat that's shaped like a love heart. Anyway, so but whenever you're publishing a book, whenever you're setting up your publishing schedule, which I will be putting through within the course, you will learn how to set up a publishing schedule. Aiming to get your book into stores is really important, and people will know that I often talk about it's important to get your cover designed, because cover design is amazing because you're thinking of the end product, but it's also important because your cover is, hi Natasha, if you're online, so make sure you say hi, okay? Your cover is so important because your cover is what you're putting out there, what you're creating anticipation for. Cover reveals are awesome. People actually see a real thing, and you would still be working hard behind the scenes to get the interior of your book together and everything, but your cover is out there. Hi Charlotte. Your cover will be out there, and it'll be circulating, and it'll be creating anticipation, and you want people to whenever they see your cover to connect with it. Oh, I've seen that cover somewhere before and I have to buy that book, okay? So whenever there's a few stages, okay, of getting your book out there, okay? So there's the bookstore, that you can have your own website, your own bookstore, where you will sell signed editions, okay? They are special edition signed editions, okay? Because you are signing them, and so that they're treasures. So you want people to come to you and buy books from you, because that is where you are going to make the most money. And on top of that, whenever you get somebody coming through you can collect their information for your database. Building up a database of readers is imperative in building up a successful publishing author career, okay? Because this person has already bought from you directly. You have their information. They will buy from you again, okay? Well, if they love what you're giving. But you want to surround yourself with those people, okay? So, first port of call, your bookstore, okay? So sell it directly yourself. I see authors all the time, because being an author is like having a small business. You may be signed to different publishing houses, but you are going to own you're owning your own authorship, you're owning your own publishing schedule. Even if you do sign to another publisher, still have your own bookstore where you can sell books directly and make a direct income, okay? Whenever you're doing events, sell your books. You need to capitalize on that. That's where you will get the most royalty, okay? So secondary to that, okay, is where you can place books in stores. It's called product placements. So you can go to your local Dymocks, you can go to your local bookstores that are in your area, and I'm going to give you an example of this, okay? We Serenity Press have an account with Rockingham Books, that is our local bookstore. So if we have a new book coming out, we will touch base with them, ask them would they like to stock it, and the terms and conditions that we stock with them for are 45% discount of RRP. And see, when you want to get your book into stores, that's why we set a high RRP that's aligned with industry standards, because through your bookstore you can offer discounts and things like that. But whenever you're working with distributing your book and getting it into bookstores, you need to allow a lot of scope. So 45% is very reasonable for the bookstores, and they will usually stock it for that. But they will want the terms sale or return. So if they don't sell the book, they want to be able to return it to you, and the way that you will deliver your books to the bookstore is with an invoice, and then they will pay it whenever they sell the books. Okay, it's not instant money. It's more like consignments. Okay, we also supply Dymocks as well, and we do the same to them. With our Vasilisa book, we have sold a lot direct to stores, and so we send the invoice with the books, and then when they sell them, they pay the invoice. Or some bookstores are really awesome, and they will pay that invoice in their next round of invoices, whatever systems they have in place. Okay, so can everybody hear me? I'm just making sure. I don't want to be babbling on. Okay, so I've just spoke about having your own bookstore. I've spoke about going to bookstores directly. Now that is very time consuming, and we all know that time is of the essence. Okay, and your time is money, your time is energy, your time is precious. Okay, it's the most valuable thing that you own is your time. Well, and your health, of course, but time is really, really precious. So it is very time consuming going to individual bookstores. But if you use it as a marketing tool, whenever you're initially getting out as an author, use it as a marketing incentive. So whenever you stock a book in a store, take an image of it, or get the bookstore to take an image of it, and use it as a marketing tool. Like, they're called shelfies. So use them as shelfies, marketing tools. Generate that kind of hype about it, okay? It's really important. Like, hi Sha, I'm just about to speak about you. Sha is placing her book in the amazing State Library in Canberra. Now that's an amazing marketing tool to use. So she's been leveraging that really, really well. And well done on that, Sha. You've done a really good job. She's done professional images. She's been really professional. She bundled her book. She got it on the shelf. Sorry, I just dropped my phone. She got it on the shelf. She's done a really amazing job in doing that. So just pursue it and make the most of that, okay? So there we are. We've talked a little about the importance of having your own bookstore, okay, for leveraging the royalty potential, supplying straight to bookstores. Now, really and truly, I would not have time to sit and service bookstores, because as you grow as an author, there's going to be more bookstores wanting your books. That's what you want. That's your aim and your goal, okay? So you are going to need somebody to get your books out into bookstores. And this is where book distributors are amazing. And when I first started publishing, I did not have a clue how to get a distributor. Now I'm going to give you a list of Australian distributors that I know, okay, in a moment, but I'm going to tell you why they are important and why they're worth their 70% RRP, okay? So book distributors are actually out there at conventions. They're out having conversations with book buyers. They're actually talking to the Dymocks, the Kmarts, the Targets. When they're showcasing you as one of their authors. When they're out there putting themselves out there, they're out there putting you out there. You're going to be in their catalogue, okay? So I work closely with Novella Distribution. Now, I have worked with Rochelle for quite a while, and she's going to pop in here and say hi to everybody, and I'm doing a Facebook Live with her in 2 months, okay? And she's gonna, you can bring your questions and everything to her, okay? I also have another exciting Facebook Live to share, but I'll bring that to you again. But distributors are important because they are out there having those conversations with the book buyers, now they're not going to pick up on every book, but to give your book the best chance it has at getting out there, it's important. So bookstores get their 45%, sometimes 50% from the distributors. So then what does the distributor get? They get around 30%. So Novella are really cool. They're 65% of RRP. So you need to allow that in your book production, because you have to provide them with books and consignment, but they can get your books out there. They can, and they are also really important, because whenever you can ring a store and say, would you like to stock my book? It is available through Novella distribution. Bookstores prefer that because they may already have an account with them or can set up an account. But most importantly, and I know this is where it's going to get all logistical, the bookstores work on this system. It's called an Onyx system. And the Onyx system is where they type in an ISBN and they can just order automatically from the distributor. And the distributor the distributor will just send them the books. It's kind of like a universal bookstore thing. So they're all in this Onyx system. So that's Australia and New Zealand wide. And so then the distributor will supply books to those areas, okay? To those bookstores this is quite a natural thing for them to do. So they prefer to deal with distributors where they can get a few books at once from a distributor, rather than dealing with individuals, because their time is precious also, because they will have to set up an account for you, they'll have to keep track of your books and individual payments, whereas if they're dealing with a distributor who they work with all the time, it's quite automatic, so it's not painful for them. Does everybody understand that? Do you understand why a distributor is important and why it takes a lot of the wealth out of the book? Do you understand that? It's just that it's really important that we understand the logistics of how books get to shelves. Now, so that's Novella distribution, okay? So another distributor that there is called Dennis Jones. We have worked with Dennis Jones before as well. They're good. They're getting really well known with bookstores. I like them. They're really good for non-fiction books. And you'll find that different distributors are really better for different books, okay? Another distributor is Peribo. They do fine art books and other books as well. They're lovely. Another distributor is Woods Lane. Now, I've worked with Woods Lane once, and they were actually really good. and I'm going to go with them for another book. But Woods Lane supply Big W. Now, we know that Big W is one of the biggest book buyers, okay? So you have got a time frame of 3 months to get your book out there in a big way, okay? So that has to be all factored in around your launch, around your release time. So releasing your book date is really important. And so that's when you, now for Novella, they are collecting covers and book details for their August catalogue now. So we are now in April, they're collecting for August. So that gives you an idea of what kind of time frame you need to be allowing, okay? And so then they can go and have, and if you can get, you need to get a proof to them so that they can bring the proof and have conversations with book buyers and show off the book. And because they're representing your book, they need you to be providing them with the best books possible at the best, highest quality standards. So it takes a while to build up those relationships and nurture those relationships, okay? So August, I think Woods Lane's actually collecting for September, so you need to get the books to them a few months so that it goes out with the reps. They've got their own reps that go to bookstores as well. And if you have, you know, flyers and things like that, that is all beneficial for you so that they can leave them. Because can you imagine the amount of millions of books that are out there in the world, the thousands that are releasing into bookstores in Australia every year? You need yours to stand out. You need to give yours the best chance. And if you want your book on shelves, you need to invest in that. You need to give your book the best chance, make it visible. You need to lift your profile as well, because your profile will help your book get noticed as well, okay? So I've talked about the importance of your own bookstore. I've talked about dealing directly with bookstores, okay? And I've talked about distributors and how to get your book onto bookstore shelves. Now, it's more like a product placement thing. Now, to allow your book to be financially viable, to be on a bookstore shelf, there's two ways to do this. And I'm not going to go on about this too much. I will talk about it again, and I go in depth in it in the course. But to get your book onto the bookstore shelves, you need to allow that 65% in the RRP, but you need to also allow for printing costs, okay? So you need to keep your printing costs to a minimum. So when you're dealing with a children's book, you definitely need to print overseas to be able to access the distribution network. You really and truly do, to keep your costs down. An example of this is, and so I'm going to use your book, is that okay? So if you're printing a hardcover children's book, let's say it costs $4 to print, and then you have to allow the 65 to print and get to you, so allow that $4 per book. Then you need to allow your 65% for distribution. What does that leave? What does that leave in between? Okay, that is the margin is very small. You need to capitalize on direct sales as much as you can to allow you to recoup costs, and capitalize on any bulk sales that you may be able to get, okay? But to service bookstores, you need to have that 35% needs to include the printing of your book, and then whatever left is yours, okay? So, but whenever you think about it on a whole of getting your book onto shelf, next time, the next book that you do should sail off the shelf, because you will be, you'll be able to gain the momentum, raise your profile, get people looking for your books in bookstores, get people talking about it, do some ingenious marketing campaign, and that's all very individual as well. But to allow that to happen, okay, so you need to allow, and that is how you get your book onto bookstore shelves, okay. I'm going to chat about libraries and the importance of libraries as well, because can you imagine the amount of libraries that there is in Australia and how you can access libraries? So I'll do that next month when I've read that book that I put a link in, because I want as much information so that I can deliver it to you properly, okay? But so for bookstores, you got to stick with it. Think of it, it's your mindset around it. Think of it as product placement, raising your profile, marketing, okay? Because marketing costs a lot of money, but if you have your books on shelves, it's not costing you anything. Well, it shouldn't be. It's getting your books there and getting your books placed, and be relentless with it. Pursue it down every avenue, but don't let it cost you too much, okay? Put a lot of energy into selling through your own bookstore. Yeah, ALS are very good for library services, and I'm going to go into that more in depth. I might actually invite them to come and have a chat in this group as well, okay? There's one little thing I wanted to share about this group as well. I love Facebook for this kind of thing, but I'm also going to create an actual chat room for this publishing academy, solely for this publishing academy, on my website, so we can keep all of our resources together, and it's going to be a private place just for us off Facebook, okay? Because with all the changes that Facebook are making, you don't know what the future of it is. So if we have a chat room, at least we still have our home, okay? So that's all coming together over the next few months as well, okay? So if does anybody have any questions about bookstores? Shai, you're pretty on to this, aren't you? Has anybody any questions or any advice that they can share with anybody who's really just learning, at the beginning of their journey? Well, if anybody doesn't have any questions, okay, that's totally cool. But if anything comes to mind, or if you watch this playback later, have any questions, please just comment it below. If it's a private question, PM me, okay? But we can all learn from our questions, because questions create conversation, they find answers, okay? So just keep asking or sharing your wisdom that you've picked up along the way, because I don't know it all. I'm still learning, but I love that what I have already learned I can share with you guys, okay? So for your success and for your books. Okay, I'm going to cut off because I've went way over time again. I'm really naughty. So yes, and one of the other announcements I had to make was that Ingram Spark, one of the girls from Ingram Spark is going to come in. I'm taking 2 weeks off. I will be popping in here to you guys, but I'm taking 2 weeks off with my kids for school holidays. So you'll probably see lots of beach pictures and stuff on the internet and play centres, but on my Facebook page. But in May, one of the head girls from Ingram Spark are going to come in, and you'll be able to ask them any questions. We're going to do like a live, okay, over for a half an hour in a day in May, okay. Hi Liz, how going? I'm just finishing up here, Liz, okay, so you'll be able to watch the playback, okay. So any questions that you have, just pop them underneath. Okay, everybody, it is so good to pop in and say hi, to feed you that information that I have about bookstores, and please just ask your questions below, okay? Bye.